Research Director of the Content Studio at Third Door Media. And I'm here to remind you that the Search Engine Land Awards are now open for entries. So get your team recognized for the outstanding work they do in search marketing. Visit this link to enter today, and good luck.
Automation. In today's session, I would like to show you how we use some of our scripts to optimize the performance of Performance Max campaigns. But first, let me start with a question. I'll let you go first. Performance Max maximizes what exactly? You might think, well, okay, it maximizes profits, right? My profits. Not so much. Well, then it must optimize for revenue, right? Maximize my revenue. No again. Okay, then surely it must maximize my conversions, right? Nope. Again, no. Well, if not conversions, then at least clicks? No again. So Performance Max maximizes what exactly? It's spend, your spend. Performance Max maximizes your spend, and it will spend as much as it can as long as we let it. If you think this statement is complete BS, or you're convinced it's not true, feel free to leave the session. You won't get much out of it. However, if you feel that this is a hypothesis that is worth testing, you want to come up with some experiments, set up campaign experiments, and let the data speak for itself, you're in my camp. Stay tuned because I've got some interesting findings to share with you. If, however, you're already convinced this is true, then this is your lucky day, because today I'm going to share 15 scripts with you that will help you take back some of our control and optimize Performance Max so that you will actually improve your profits. So my statement for today is, in order to maximize your profits using Performance Max campaigns, you will have to take back control. And the good news is you can use Google Ads scripts to do so. So let's dive in. 15 scripts to help you optimize the performance of your Performance Max campaigns. Let's start with a category that I call monitoring. As we all know, Performance Max is a black box. Google doesn't really give us a lot of information of what is happening inside the campaign type, but we can use scripts to monitor a lot of the things that are happening behind the scene. One of the most popular Google Ads scripts that is currently available on the internet is a script developed by Mike Rhodes. It's called the PMax Insight scripts, and it will give you a lot of information about what is happening inside the Performance Max campaign. So if we look at this slide and we start at the upper left quadrant, you will see these two donut graphs with the colors yellow and blue that represent the percentage of your spend through the different channels that are being targeted by Performance Max campaign. So Performance Max shows your ads on the search network, the shopping ads, it shows it on the display, YouTube, and here you will see where Google Ads is actually spending the money for your Performance Max campaign. And as you can see, it's spending a lot of money on the shopping. For this particular Performance Max campaign, it's spending a lot of money on the shopping campaign, product listing ads, but also the yellow part on display. However, most of the conversions are happening, second donut graph, in the blue area. So most of the conversions are coming from your shopping product listing ads. So what is happening in this Performance Max campaign? As you can see in the lower left quadrant, you see a red arrow indicating a change, a dramatic change in spend within this Performance Max campaign. The blue line represents the spend on the shopping PLAs, and the gray line represents the spend in the display network. Now for this Performance Max campaign, what happened here is that before the red arrow, Performance Max was doing great with shopping ads with a great return on ad spend. However, it noticed that it wasn't spending all of the available budget, but it was outperforming the ROAS target. So suddenly it decided to start spending a lot more money on the display network. And as you can see, spending on display even was bigger than the spend on the shopping network. Unfortunately, this also resulted in the return on ad spend going down like crazy, so it had to return the spend to the shopping campaigns. As you can see, it's very hard in the Google Ads interface to discover these types of behavior of the Performance Max campaign, but if you use scripts, specifically this script, you can create graphs that will show you where the Performance Max campaign is spending the money. If we move to the lower right corner, you can even see that thanks to scripts, you will be able to see for what search terms the Performance Max campaign is showing your ads. And then you can have a look at what search terms are showing great results, as in good conversion numbers with a high conversion rate, versus search terms that show terrible results, as in a lot of clicks without conversions. You might want to negate them. We'll get back to that later. And in the upper right corner, also very interesting, you will see that you can use scripts to monitor what percentage of your impressions, clicks, conversions, and conversion value can be attributed to brand traffic. Because Performance Max is also notorious for spending a lot of money on brand traffic. Brand traffic has high conversion value, as we all know. So if Performance Max can create some branded traffic, it of course can show great results because the conversion value of these clicks is really high. And you have to remember that in the interface, we look at the aggregate results. And if you don't see the distinction between branded traffic and non-branded traffic, you will see one aggregate number, and you think the Performance Max campaign is doing a great job at generating new clients, attracting new customers, but it can be targeting your branded traffic, and most of these clicks will have converted anyway, and you didn't need Performance Max for that. That fact was actually also discovered by our PPC friends at Smarter E-commerce, an Austrian company that has developed another very valuable script that monitors the percentage of your conversions that can be attributed to brand traffic. So as you can see in this graph, once the campaign started, they had some asset groups that included assets for text ads. And Performance Max was basically spending most of its money, and definitely most of the conversions came through branded traffic. So they decided to remove all these assets to prevent Performance Max from showing text ads on the branded searches. And the percentage of conversions for branded actually declined. But unfortunately, Performance Max decided to automatically create assets, although they had removed them. And it started going after branded traffic again. Again, the reason for this is that brand traffic has great conversion value. It's easy to show great results if you go after branded traffic. So they removed these assets again, and I think they also added some brand exclusions. It's a feature in the Performance Max campaign you can use to exclude branded traffic. And as you can see, the percentage of brand traffic decreased again. It's not zero yet, so I assume that they have not attached a negative keyword list to Performance Max campaigns, which I highly recommend if you want to do exclude brand traffic. Attach a negative keyword list to your Performance Max campaign. I will show you how to do it in a link in the resources later on. But that way you can exclude all the traffic and also the close variants and typos of your brand name from Performance Max campaigns. So these two scripts give you great insights in where Performance Max is spending your traffic. But another interesting thing about Performance Max is that it is always trying new things, right? The products in your inventory might change, but also the search behavior of your target audience might change. And so the search themes or the search terms for which Performance Max will show your ads is changing rapidly. So I decided to create a script, the trending search theme scripts, that will basically monitor all the search terms for which your Performance Max campaign showed up last week and compare it to the week before. So if there is a significant distinction between in the impressions, the search volume from last week compared to the week before, you will receive an alert with a link to this Google Sheet, and inside this Google Sheet you can see what new search terms popped up in your Performance Max campaigns. And you can use that information to either optimize this Performance Max campaign, or use it to create some new campaigns that specifically target these newly discovered search terms. Okay. With machine learning, it's very important to realize that the quality of the model that is being learned highly depends on the quality of the data that you feed it. So with machine learning, it's sort of like garbage in, garbage out. So if you provide terrible data in, for instance, your feed, it will be very hard for the machine learning to learn where to show your ads and how to predict the value of the clicks that they will generate. But let's suppose you have a greatly optimized product feed. Performance Max has been running for some time, and you have one best-selling item inside your Performance Max campaign that is responsible for, let's say, 1/3 of all the conversion value. And then suddenly, this product goes out of stock. What happens? Well, as you can predict, most probably conversion rates will go down because your best-selling item went out of stock. However, the Performance Max campaign still wants to spend all the budget that you sort of provided for it through the daily budget setting. So although your best-selling item is removed from the inventory, your Performance Max campaign most probably will still be spending the same amount of dollars or euros it has spent days before when the best-selling item was still available. And as a result, conversion rate will drop because for the the other products that Performance Max is now testing, conversion rates are probably lower. So in the few days after the product went out of stock, you will see a dramatic decrease in your return on ad spend. Now, one way to prevent this is to use a seasonality adjustment, where you basically tell the Performance Max campaign for the next few days, I want a bit lower because I expect a lower conversion rate. Now, you might want to do the same for products that for some reason got disapproved. So even if they're still in stock, if a product that has a high conversion rate and shows a lot of conversion value suddenly gets disapproved, you want to be in the know because Performance Max cannot show that product anymore, but it will still try to spend all the budget that is available for it. So again, conversion rates might drop. So if a product gets disapproved, you want to be the first to know it, and then maybe try something with a seasonality adjustment to prevent Performance Max from wasting a lot of money. So what this script does, it monitors your products on an hourly basis. And if there is a product that has a significant amount of clicks in the past, clicks or conversions in the past, and it gets disapproved, you will immediately receive an alert with a link to the script, to a sheet, where you can find all the information about the disapproval. Another very nice example, our PPC friends at FlowBoost developed a script that segments your products by price competitiveness. So for instance, here you will see the donut graphs where you have products that in green, they have a price that is below your competition. In red, the price is above the competition. And in yellow, you're sort of like the same price, right? And as you can see, there's a different performance, a different return on ad spend for products that have different price competitiveness levels. Now, you can use this information to segment these products in different campaigns and provide different targets for these campaigns. So for instance, if your product has a very competitive price that is, let's say, 5 to 10% lower than all of your competitors, you will most probably also have a lower profit margin for these products. So you want to set a higher return on ad spend target to make these types of products more profitable. Now, you can use a script like this to sort of create a Google sheet that you can use as a supplemental feed in your Google Merchant Center, where you use custom labels to segment these products. This strategy has proven to be very successful for a lot of my clients. Another example would be the quality of the links that you feed the Performance Max campaigns. So most probably, many of you are already familiar with the broken link checker script. It's one of the Google Ads scripts that is very popular. It is developed by Google itself. It's a great script, but there are two major downsides. The first is it doesn't scale very well. So if you have very big accounts, most of the time it's just not capable of testing all the links in there. And it's completely ignores the Performance Max campaign. So it does not check the links inside your Performance Max campaigns. Now, of course, we don't want to send traffic to broken links because they will never convert. So I decided to create a script that will check all the links for which the Performance Max campaign has generated any clicks. So what you see here, again, a Google Sheet. Inside this Google Sheet, you will see the HTTP response codes for all the URLs that all the landing pages that Performance Max generated clicks for. And if there is a page with a significant number of clicks and it returns a 404, a broken link, then you will receive an alert with a link to this sheet so you can immediately take action and exclude this URL from your Performance Max campaign. Now, URL exclusions can be used for other types of traffic as well, because even if a URL is not broken, it might very well be the case that this particular URL isn't really valuable for your business. Performance Max, if you allow it to, will go and try to generate traffic for all the URLs that you basically have on your website and submit in the campaign. So sort of like a DSA campaign, dynamic search ads campaign, you have to monitor where it is sending the traffic. And one of our PPC friends, Bo Royale, he took over an account, dove into the landing page report and discovered that it was sending a lot of clicks to blogs, the blog section of the website. So I thought it was roughly 12,000 clicks that generated only 2 conversions. And by simply using the URL exclusion feature, he was able to dramatically increase the performance of the Performance Max campaign by simply excluding the blog traffic. So you have to monitor where Performance Max is sending the traffic. Now you can use a script to monitor all the landing pages, and if a landing page gets a significant amount of clicks and 0 conversions, exclude it. Another category of optimizations that you can use scripts for is budget management. Our friends at Product Hero, a CSS partner in Europe, came up with a strategy to sort of like segment products in 4 different categories. You have your hero products that get a lot of clicks and a lot of conversions at high conversion value. You have your sidekicks that also show great return on ad spend, but don't get a lot of clicks and conversions. You have your zombies, products that, don't really get a lot of clicks and show so-so performance. And then you have your villains, the ones that do get a lot of clicks, but show a subpar ROAS that is below your target. Now, if you put all these products in one campaign, it's very hard for Performance Max to really maximize your profits. A much better strategy would be to separate these products in different campaigns and provide different budgets and different targets for them, because that way you will force the Performance Max algorithm to spend most of the budget on your hero products and only spend a little budget to explore, for instance, opportunities in the zombie category. And this is a very efficient strategy to actually help Performance Max algorithm discover new growth opportunities in your product portfolio. And this information is also available inside the My Growth script. So again, inside the script, he has sort of like a similar categorization of the products, named costly, profitable, flukes, and he named it a meh category, where you will find different products with different performance metrics. And again, he shows how many products fall in each category, how much ad spend is being spent in each category, and how much conversion value is coming from all these products in these different categories. And again, as you can see, a lot of the costs are made in the category of the costly products. And what you want to do is you do not want to spend that much money on this category because the return on ad spend is below your target. And the reason that Performance Max keeps spending it is because if you all have all these products in one campaign, these costly products, the performance of these costly products is hidden by the average that we look at in the Google Ads interface. So you have your set of highly profitable products with a great return on ad spend that sort of make up for the terrible performance of these costly products. So if you do not separate them out in different campaigns with different budgets and different targets, the performance will will go down, and it's very hard to scale. Again, our friends from FlowBoost Labelizer also realized this, and they came up with their own version of the script to segment these products in these different categories. And they created this sheet that you can use as a supplemental feed in your merchant center to immediately start utilizing these insights in the optimization of your campaigns. I highly recommend to also have a look at that. One other thing that I've noticed is that with Performance Max, you set a daily budget, right? But that basically tells Google that it is allowed to spend 30.4, if I remember correctly, 30.4 times your daily budget on a monthly basis. And it will definitely try to spend all of it. So I've been running an over-delivery monitoring script ever since, I thought it was 2018. And one of the things that I've noticed is that at the start of each month, Google will overspend your daily budget. 20%, 40%, sometimes even 80%. And at the end of the month, if it hasn't already spent almost 30.4 times your daily budget, it again will start over delivery and will start spending more than your daily budget just to meet this monthly budget target. Now, with Performance Max, what I've noticed is that during these periods of overspending, so on the days that the actual spend was above your daily target, the return on ad spend was much lower than the average during the rest of the month. So I decided to create a script that automatically pauses a Performance Max campaign once the daily budget has been hit. And that actually decreased the ad spend, but increased my profits. This is another example of how you can use scripts to optimize the campaigns for you. Sometimes though, for some reason, Performance Max campaigns do not spend all of the budget. And then you might want to, for instance, decrease your target ROAS to see if you can force the Performance Max algorithm to start experimenting some more and discover some new opportunities to grow the campaign. And once that happens, it might very well be that it actually reaches your daily budget target and realizes a return on ad spend that you are happy with. And then you want to increase the budget because you want to spend more, right? But you don't get an alert. You have to go into the interface and have a look at the campaign overview to see if there are any Performance Max campaigns that are limited by budget. If they are limited by budget and you're happy with the return on ad spend, of course, you want to increase the budget, right? So I created the script that will alert you if a campaign shows a return on ad spend that is, let's say, 20% above your target and is limited by budget, so that you can immediately dive in and increase the budget. Unfortunately, Performance Max is also notorious for a lot of waste. So Performance Max is always trying to show your ads in inventory where you might not necessarily want your ads to be shown because it generates clicks of low quality, or for other reasons you do not want your ads to show there. But you can use scripts to prevent that from happening. So a famous example, of course, is the Google Display Network. It's notorious for click fraud, lead fraud. There's a lot of placements for which you simply don't want to show your ads there. And our friend Dimitro Tonking from TrueClicks, he created a script that you can use to automatically exclude spammy placements where Performance Max is showing your ads. Another example would be non-converting search terms. A lot of spend is wasted on search terms that Performance Max is trying to deliver great return on, but after, let's say, 200 clicks with still 0 conversions, you might want to stop it from trying because it's simply not converting, right? But again, if you do not look at these individual search terms and the performance, then the cost is hidden in the average, so you will not see it. So I created a script that monitors the performance of all the search terms from your Performance Max campaign. And if a search term has had over, let's say, 200 clicks and 0 conversions, it will suggest to add it as a negative keyword to your Performance Max campaign. And again, you can use negative keyword lists. You can ask your Google representative to attach them to your Performance Max campaign. And I will show you how in a link in the resources. And here's another script. Just like with the search terms, if a search term has gotten a lot of clicks and 0 conversions, the same goes for products, right? So if you have products that have gathered over, let's say, 200 clicks and 0 conversions, why waste any more money on them? Simply exclude them from your Performance Max campaign. Unfortunately, Google doesn't exclude them by themselves, so you will actively have to force them to do so. And you can do that via this script. The script basically generates a supplemental feed that contains all the products that have had over, let's say, 200 clicks and 0 conversions. And you can use, for instance, a custom label to segment the products out of the campaign that you want to optimize for. Now, one last script. Same idea here. You can use scripts to monitor the exact user locations of the audience that has clicked on the ads from your Performance Max campaigns. So if you go in the interface, if you go to matched locations, you can, for instance, see the performance of the different states in the United States. And if there is a state that shows a significant lower conversion rate or higher cost per conversion, you might want to exclude that state from your geo-targeting. So in this example, the state of Florida, for some reason, showed lower conversion rates compared to the other states. So we decided to exclude this state from this campaign so that it would spend more money on clicks from the other states and therefore improve the conversions. So I hope that I've shown you some examples that will get you thinking on how you can use scripts to optimize the performance of Performance Max campaign and get some more insight. If you leave Performance Max running as it is, please do realize that it is spending a lot of money on wasted clicks. It will try to spend all of the budget that you allow it to. And in order to maximize your profits, not Google's profits, but your profits, you have to take back control, and scripts can help you with that. Good news is you do not have to be a developer to use scripts. It is as simple as copy and paste. You can do this too. Simply head over to all the links in the resource and copy paste the script, start experimenting with it, and optimize your Performance Max campaigns. Here you can find a link to all the scripts that we discussed today, including how you can use the negative keyword list. And with that, I'd like to thank you and open up for questions. And I hope to see you back at the next SMS event.
Amazing. That was such a great talk, like from Nils, aka Mr. Scripts. Like since I have started, working in the industry, I've also been a fan of scripts. So I've always loved it because why be, why go through things if you're gonna you're gonna do something, you want something done several times. Why not find a fast way to do it and save yourself the trouble of doing things the hard way, where there's easy way and fast way of doing things. But anyway, let's get into the Q&A. But before, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Anu. I am the paid media editor here at Third Door Media, the amazing company behind this SMX Advanced and Search Engine Land and Martech and and so on and so forth. We are lovers of all things search, whether it's Google, how they do things, all the platforms and coming out with their own search features, or whether it's like, SEO and all that kind of stuff. We love search, and we are just excited to bring you an amazing experts in our fields and to come with their knowledge and their vast experience of many years of working in this industry, seeing how it's evolved vastly over time. But I think Nils is a fantastic one, definitely, to have talk to us, because as he said in that introduction, he loves AI. He has specialized in AI before it became cool. Before it was cool, Nils was on the AI train, weren't you, Nils?
Carefully, you're showing my age now.
Oh, there are many of us. There are many of us that have been here like that. We're all in the same boat together. Don't worry. But yeah, let's get into the questions. Some great questions here. Loads of people are asking, are loving your scripts. Are really interested as to, like how they work, how you do it. I'm glad you actually said at the end there that you don't really need to be a scripts person. Just copy and paste would also work. Always love it when people add that tip. Starting off with Ingrid, who asks for, especially when you were talking about script one, the first script that you shared, great transparency into spend with this script, but how will we be able to control spend and direct to placements that are efficient? So how do you control spend and direct it
Right.
to good placements?
Right. Yeah, great question. And it sort of relates to one of the scripts that I mentioned later, as in you can exclude some placements from PMax. So you have the account level placement exclusions. And you can also ask Google Rep to attach a placement exclusion list to your PMax campaign if you want to exclude them at the campaign level. And that way you can sort of reduce some of the wasted spend. The big problem is that even with scripts, it is not possible to see the exact cost per placement. So you can see the number of impressions your PMax ads generate in a placement, but you cannot see the actual cost and conversion value of that placement. So you will still have to do some you have to add some intelligence to it before you exclude it. But I like to exclude placement for which, for instance, the Moz spam score is really high, because those are just the AdSense click fraud type websites, or for instance domain names that have a very low old-fashioned page rank score, because that's also an indication of the quality of the traffic that goes there. So I hope that answers the question. You can exclude placements, but it's really hard to see the actual conversion value of individual placements.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And I think, to save us a bit of the hassle, I'm going to ask two questions at a time because they pretty much cover the same topic. We have this from one of a very well-known name in our field, Frederick Valles, as well as Katie Straw. sorry, Katie Strother. Katie Strother. And they both asked something about, Google visibility. And with these scripts, so we have Frederick going, yeah, I love this script, but recently Google has been blocking a lot of search terms. And in that same kind of vein, Katie also goes, yeah, how does the script make the PMax insights available? A lot of this in terms of breakup by channel doesn't appear to be available anywhere in the Google Ads interface. So do you have like a secret insight into Google? Are you really just trying to make the most of the data that Google is giving us?
Right. Yeah. So both great questions, and maybe to start with the latter, that's one of the reasons that I'm a big fan of scripts, because they literally open up the black box that the Google Ads interface is. So thanks to scripts, you will get some more insight and more data that is not available in the Google Ads interface. And then you can use that data to create your own visualizations, like the graphs I've shown you, to actually make that data, basically to translate it into information and insights that you can use to optimize the account. Now, the problem with the data that Google is providing to us is that it is changing almost daily, as in literally the amount of information that is given to us mostly is decreasing, unfortunately, which relates to Fred's question. So a couple of years ago, also in the Google Ads interface, Google decided to show much less search term data. So like, for instance, if I remember like 8-10 years ago, we would get like search term data for each and every individual click. That has disappeared. Google says it's because of privacy reasons. Some other PPC experts will disagree and say that Google has other reasons to hide this data from us. But unfortunately, the same thing is happening also with the Google Ads API.
Yes.
Some functionalities, the
Uh,
data that we can actually access is
Around 10.
changing on a daily basis, and sometimes we get more,
10
sometimes
p.m.
we get less. But luckily for us, it is still working. In
Uh,
my own scripts, I do still get a lot of search term data. It also depends on the type of query that you use to actually get the data. So that might also be worth looking into. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's constantly changing. That's basically the answer.
It's constantly changing, but by using scripts, we can actually get more data than what is just like flatly giving us from the Google Ads interface. That's interesting. Very much of a good incentive for us to be using scripts then, definitely. Um, and I think this is a bit more of a philosophical. Why does Google do what they do? Dan Cardone goes, why doesn't Google offer these performance graphs? That was a huge disappointment from our use of PMax was the lack of performance reporting and visibility. Do you have any thoughts on that, or is it just a matter of don't worry about what Google does, use scripts?
Oh, he's asking me to go out on a rant. No, no. In all seriousness, I mean, Google is in it to make money, right? Google has a lot of different stakeholders involved in. They're part of an ecosystem. They're basically obliged to make money for their shareholders. There's end users. There's employees. There's advertisers. There's PPC experts. So it's an ecosystem with a lot of different stakeholders with different objectives, and yeah, Google has to find its way to make the best out of all these different forces.
Yeah,
But yes, making more profit is definitely very, very, very important to Google.
yeah.
And they will do so in many different ways. And in my opinion, one of the ways is they are trying to take a bigger chunk of the pie
Yeah.
by
They
not,
already have
not
the
not
biggest
maximizing
chunk.
profit. They have a very big chunk already, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're trying to. Fred also, yeah, then comes with another question says that how would someone take a script like the non-converting search terms and use ChatGPT? We knew that was going to come soon, and use ChatGPT to exclude certain ones. So taking the action rather than just sharing a suggestion.
Right, great
Yeah.
question. Yeah, so the script you mentioned is a script that I've developed myself. And what you can do is you can basically feed it to ChatGPT and then ask ChatGPT to explain to you what the script is doing. And based on the description that ChatGPT is giving you, you can actually ask it to modify the script for you. So you could ask it, okay, you're giving me these negative keyword suggestions, but now I would like to add these suggestions as keywords to a negative keyword list that has the name, I don't know, negative keyword list one. And then once you have a script that is doing that, you can attach that negative keyword list to your Performance Max campaign and thus have the newly generated script automatically fill that negative keyword list with the suggestions that are currently being shown in the Google Sheet. Now, the trick to use ChatGPT for that is to be to have a lot of patience, because it will often generate a first version that does not clearly meet 100% meet your requirements or will show some errors. But if you repeatedly ask it, just like you're educating your kid, if you explain what you really mean, what you need, and then force it to go one step further, it will often come up with the right solution. And then you can literally build a script from scratch within an hour, even if you don't have any coding skills.
That kind of even answers the next question. I should have done both together because we have Felix have can asking, can you use AI tools to generate a new scripts, and if so, how reliable are they? But what I'd actually like to ask, so yeah, you pretty much said yes. Have you done? Have you created? What was that like? That's too small for
Not,
me to
not
see.
I've literally tested this afternoon, so I'm not sure if this is clear on the camera, but this is like a flow chart. I've
Okay.
literally written down a flow chart because I needed a script that would send me an alert if today's spend is over 150% of the average spend of the last 4 weeks. So I've literally drawn this on this piece of paper. I took
Wow.
a picture with my ChatGPT app, and ask ChatGPT to create a Google Ads script that does this for me. Normally, I could create a script like this myself, but it would cost me 20 minutes, 2 minutes.
I, and it's you trust it, like it's doing the right thing. It's giving you some alerts already, and it's
Right,
doing the
here's the
correct
trick. Yeah, so I've created my own custom chat GPT that I've trained with my coding style, and I've educated it so that it always asks questions. So it interprets the picture of the flowchart that I just presented, and then it first generates some pseudocode before actually creating the JavaScript code that I can copy paste and add
obviously.
to the Google Ads scripts interface. And based on the pseudocode, I can actually read what um, how well ChatGPT understood the requirements, and I can
Yeah.
adjust the requirements so that it will create better code.
Wow, that's quite
It's amazing,
impressive.
right?
I mean, I keep saying that yeah, even though that we shouldn't overuse Chat GPT, and with all the talk of people going, oh my God, it's going to replace things, going to replace stuff. That is a fantastic use case. That is no doubt about it. I think objectively, that is, but then you trained it, and that's it. You've got also need that human bit of training it well to do things better. And so do you think at what point do you train it so well that you would need to the input from you is like very little? Is it quite there yet, would you say, while you've trained it, or does it still need a
Well,
bit more?
well, well, here's the thing. If you just open up a new ChatGPT window and start from scratch, it will generate some code, but most probably it will make some minor mistakes. So
Yeah.
the more complex the script or the logic gets, uh, the the
Not.
bigger the chance that it will generate something that is not working from scratch. And then
Yeah.
if you do not have any coding skills, it's really hard to actually steer it in the right direction. So that's
Sure.
why I created this custom GPT to prevent this from happening. So basically what I did with the custom GPT is train it to make sure that it makes less mistakes, so that
Mm.
even people without proper coding skills can actually generate Google Ads scripts with diagrams like the one I just showed you.
Okay, fantastic. And that custom GPT that you've trained it, is that available for the audience to use, or they've got to do the
Not not yet, because I've also trained it with a lot of my own proprietary custom scripts,
Sure.
and currently there's a hack in you can hack it so that you would be able to get all these scripts. But I'm working on it, so
That would
hopefully
be
hopefully in the next
fantastic.
few.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That's so great. And then we have Ryan Taylor asking, with how much maintenance, how much maintenance and time is needed to manage a PMax campaign? Um, sorry, with how much maintenance and time that is needed to manage PMax campaign, why would an advertiser even want to deal with it? What's the upside? Um, yeah. Benefits, pros and cons of PMax campaign. Do you want to take some of that?
Well, here's the thing with PMax. Except from all the things that I've been, I'm sort of like I like PMax bashing, but Google presented it at the start of at the launch of the PMax campaign. They presented it sort of like the one campaign type to rule them all. It was
Yeah.
targeting upper funnel, middle of the funnel,
Mm,
bottom of the funnel. But after a few years, they realized that PMax was much better at bottom of the funnel, taking credit for all the conversions that are happening there. It wasn't really that good at moving up the funnel without wasting a lot of spend.
mm,
So that's why I see a lot of my colleagues and other PPC pros actually moving away from PMax back to standard shopping campaigns to optimize at least the shopping channel to the
yeah.
max.
Yeah.
But that being said, there are cases for PMax. For instance, if you have like a relatively small budget, let's say 5,000 a month, and you do not want to spend that much on managing the your Google Ads account because you don't want to hire anyone for it, and you only have like let's say 20 products, might make sense to just run a single PMax campaign and throw all the products in there because
Mm,
then you don't have to think about anything. Um,
yeah. But I think, yeah, and the question is that, even with that, to do that, you need to do a lot of maintenance. You need to take a lot of time. Is it just a matter of like, is there another way of creating without it just goes, well, I'll just create a, manual campaign. It's less hassle. Is that a good way to think about it? Or, I mean, I always say I'm always of the school of thought of like test and see what the data gives you, right? But like, yeah, it's just some people. Are there any particular you'd say industries that should literally just don't look at PMax? PMax is not worth it.
Well, first of all, lead gen comes to mind because PMax is notorious for generating a lot of low quality leads.
Mm.
So unless you are tracking at least MQLs, SQLs, prospects, and real sales, if you can feed that conversion data back to PMax, then it might make sense to start experimenting with it. But if you're only tracking, for instance, form fills, um, I would recommend to not use PMax because
Yeah.
it will definitely optimize towards the traffic that will fill out the form, but just not convert down the funnel.
I want to warn the audience because we've got maybe like just under 5 minutes. They are like about still like, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 more questions to go. Unfortunately, guys, we're not
Rapid
going to get
fire.
through to them. But find Meals on Twitter and his LinkedIn. We're always sharing stuff on the social media. Find him there. So unfortunately, we don't get to your question in this session. Please find him somewhere on social media. I'm sure he'll be happy to take any more questions. We also have Adil Ziani going, yeah, great presentation. Just a
Thank
question
you.
on what do you recommend in terms of structuring the asset groups within a PMax campaign? Thanks.
Oh, yes,
That's
that
the
is a
general
difficult
question.
question. It's really hard to answer within a few minutes because, with everything in PPC, it depends. But
Yeah.
unless you have completely different assets for different set of products,
Mm-hmm.
uh, don't think about it too much. Simply throw it in there. Just create a single asset group and start segmenting out based upon the data once the campaign has been gathering enough data to actually make some data driven sensible decisions.
Yeah. And I like that grouping, those four groupings of like the villain, the hero, what was the other two? Forgive me. Like
The
those like four.
sidekicks, yes, but these you separate out through campaigns. So these will
Okay.
be in different campaigns with different
Campaign.
budgets and different targets. Yep.
Sure, sure. Got it. Yeah, we also then have Christina Couture asking, is the Mike Rhodes PMax performance bucket scripts available for free or is that a paid version only?
That is the paid version.
Okay. So there's no free version of that one. Okay.
Well, if you search, I'm pretty sure there is a similar script out there that does something similar for free. So hit me
Okay.
up on LinkedIn or through email, and I'll.
Lovely. So you heard that. Again, we've got Yana going, yeah, great presentation. I am new to search ads. Where do the scripts go? Is it in the Google interface or on the website or product pages? Yeah, those who know, those who don't. So yeah, that's a great question. Yeah.
For sure, yeah. That's actually one of the cool things I think about Google Ads. They allow you to run the script, the JavaScript code on their platform. So you do not need to host your own development servers, or you can simply upload the JavaScript code through the Google Ads interface. So inside the Google Ads interface, if you search for scripts, you will see the script editor, and there you can copy paste the JavaScript code. Then you can preview it, which basically means execute the code without making any changes in your account. So you don't have to worry that anything goes wrong or that a change is being made in your account. If you preview it, it will not make any changes, and still you can see what would happen if you were to actually run it. And then if you've run it once, you can actually schedule it to run, for instance, daily at 1 a.m. or weekly on a Monday or monthly at the first day of the month. And that's all within the script editor interface in the Google Ads AI UI.
Amazing. We probably just have time for one more question because we've got like less than a minute. We have Nidas asking like quite a generic question, but if we can get like one or two tips in here. He asks, I find it really hard to use Chat GPT for script creations. Any tips? What's like your top few tips for this?
Right. Okay. So first you have to use a system prompt. So basically tell it that ChatGPT is a very experienced senior Google Ads script developer and that it is its job to teach you how to create Google Ads scripts by explaining everything it does in baby steps. And you can replace baby steps with the level you feel comfortable with. And then once it starts explaining what the script does, you're basically forcing it to really think hard about each and every individual step it takes to create a script. And then based on what it is telling you, you can provide feedback to steer GPT in the right direction so that it will create the script that actually works when you run it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Niels. And before we go, this is not a question, but I think this is worth mentioning. Asim Virani goes, nice comment. Niels is one of the reasons I'm able to call myself an optimization consultant. Thanks, Niels. So,
I love that.
yes,
Thank you so much.
amazing, right? Amazing impact that you're having on the industry from people that you don't know, you don't meet, but are really making the most of your of the amazing knowledge that you share. So this is amazing with what these conferences, these meetings that we have are amazing for. Thank you very much once again, Niels. And thank you to our audience member. Thank you to all the people who sent in questions. Apologies if we didn't get to them. Please find Niels on one of his social media, pages or, or profiles. Who I'm sure he'll be able to get any of the questions and get to any of the questions that you have for him. Before you leave, please take a moment to tell us how we did in the rate session or rate session tab on the right of your screen. The more ratings you leave, the greater your chance of winning $100 Amazon gift card or $100 donation to a charity of your choice. And next up is a 10-minute break, followed by a live demo from Mountain, Fluency, and Stat, powered by Moz. See you there. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the agenda link at the top of your screen